anything?
Facebook just got hacked, so.
5:15, actually it's 5:16.
Let's go.
Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Welcome to regular board meeting, Alexandria Bay, March 14th, 2023. At this time, we'll open it to the public hearing. The regular meeting to immediately follow. Public hearing is on exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers on portion of real property taxes. Essentially, New York State's now allowing municipalities to give exemptions to volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers, EMS workers. New York Real Property Tax Law and NYRPTL subsection 466-A provides for a limited 10% exemption from real property taxes. With respect to residential real property where the taxpayer resides in the residential property within the village of Alexandria Bay meets all eligibility requirements pursuant to subsection 466. In a way, it gives some relief to those that volunteer. That's essentially 24 hours a day when they're not working.
And encouraging more to, volunteer.
When it actually involves the village, there's out of 65 members with the Alexandria Bay Fire Department, there's actually 5 firefighters within the village. So it's not going to severely affect the tax situation on the village. So, open it up to the floor. Oh, excuse me. Roll call, please.
Excuse me. Trustee Caputo.
Here.
Trustee Demo. Here. Trustee Dorigo. Trustee Fulmer.
Here.
Mayor Jarvis.
Present. Now we can open it up to the floor. Anything from the public?
I don't have a
Anything
problem
from the
with
board?
it. I agree with it. Yeah, me too. The only thing, because we're doing it now, it doesn't apply till goes into effect March 1st of next year.
Of 2024.
Right, we didn't get it in time to do this year. Are you ready for a motion, or do you want to wait and see if anybody else comes?
Close it. At this time, we just close the public hearing.
Oh,
Yes. Make a motion to close.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Motion to close by Trustee Fulmer, second by Trustee Demo. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So we're going to the regular public concerns.
Were you making a motion to close the thing or to pass that?
To close.
To close.
To close it, I have it on the business down here to do the rest.
It's number 1 under new business. Public concerns, anybody? All set? Correspondence? All set. Minutes. Have a motion to approve the minutes February 14th, 2023. Special meeting February 28th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes February 14th, 23, and special meeting February 28th, 23.
I'll second it.
Motion by Trustee Fulmer, second by Trustee Caputo. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Bills, motion to pay the bills, abstract number 9 as presented.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills, abstract number 9 as presented.
I'll second it.
Sorry, everybody.
Motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Demo. Pay the bills, abstract number 9 is presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee reports.
No report?
I don't have anything either, just a little bit, on the water. $3 million grant, we're waiting for, Gregor knows more about it, but he's not here. All we're waiting for at this point, I believe they filled out all the MWBE additional paperwork that they needed, and we're just waiting for a go. As soon as we get the go, we're gonna order the new water meter system, and they're gonna start, or finish designing the new water tower. We hope to get the water tower out to bid by fall. The other $2 million grant plus the loan that we got, we're working on paperwork to send that in. And we're still hoping for a grant for the sewer department. And we're looking for lifeguards. If anybody knows anybody that wants to be a lifeguard this summer, I'm gonna call the school and ask them to put up a flyer. So that's water, sewer, lifeguard. The rest is good. That's all I have.
Gordon Court's meeting tonight in about an hour, so we'll have another report from them after they give me their minutes. With the docks, we are looking for dock attendants. We have one person that's applied, so like with Judy, notice will go out to the school. I've had a couple kids inquire about it, so I gotta see the age.
Isn't it 15 for dock
Yeah.
attendants?
Yep.
Yeah. I gotta see if they're 15.
Oh.
Nothing new is going on at the library. They're planning a silent auction to raise some money. That's what they're this summer. And the Hearts for Youth, they're working on their spring program, and we just bought a shed that's going to go out in the corner back here for storage. It's quite a lovely shed. It's coming from North Country. Is it North Country Sheds, I think it's called? And they gave us a really good deal, so I'm happy about that.
Okay. DPW.
Last Wednesday, we had a water leak on Margaret Ave. It went well. It was actually a service to a house. Probably had been leaking for a little bit. It actually burned a hole in the copper, so the hole would have gotten bigger. That went well. Still filling sand barrels, coal patching, still brush removal. We had an issue with one of the loader tires leaking down. They're actually a split rim, which we don't monkey with. So I had called Cheney Tire with their mobile service. They came down today, popped it off the bead, reseated it. Hopefully that's the end of it. I have something for the board. There's an individual that'd be interested in doing an internship from BOCES with the village barn. They would come, instead of going out to BOCES, they would report to the barn. I believe maybe one day out of the week. I think they still have to go back to BOCES. And then he works with us. He's in the heavy equipment field. And he had approached me. It would be Cody Escobedo's brother that is doing this. He seemed very interested in being able to do his internship there.
How old is he?
He's got to be at least 18 or 19. So he's a senior in high school. So I didn't know if the board would be interested in that. I have stated to him that we had never done it beforehand, but I would.
Are you interested in doing that?
In the BOCES internships, they seem to work out okay. It's a lot less babysitting than some of the other programs that we have with community service and stuff. These guys are out here, and they also get graded. I mean, I have to send a report back in to BOCES, so
So when they're here 1 day a week working for you at DPW, how are they insured? Through BOSI?
I would imagine they're through BOCES. I can look more into, I was just approached like an hour ago about this.
Through
so.
BOSI? I don't have a problem with it. Does anybody?
And I can come back with more information, because I don't think it's like up and coming very quick. He was just trying to get some ducks in the road that he could have a place to go close by. So, and I can find out more information if you guys would like. But at least I can give him an answer and say, you know, we think the village might be interested, so let me see what I can do.
A little bit more information and insurance and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, insurance is my main concern in making sure that he's at least 18, because I don't think the village insurance would go for a 17-year-old operating your heavy equipment, even if BOCES covered it. I don't know. But the other thing is you. I mean, that's your, your responsibility, and if you want to undertake that, he could be a help, but it could.
And again, it all goes with, New York State work, guidelines that if he's too young, he can't even be on the garbage truck, he can't do that, so. Again, I just kinda wanted to address it, put it out there.
Yep.
And I can look forward more into this. I just wasn't gonna waste time doing it if the village was not willing, so. I will look more into it, okay?
Yeah, good.
If you're interested.
I am. I'm always, happy to give somebody a chance and, allow them to learn.
Yep.
So,
May end up working here.
That's right.
right. And that's all I have.
And thank you and your guys for the lovely weather we're still having.
Anytime.
Police report had 5 complaints, 1 arrest, 0 vehicle and traffic tickets issued, 2 warnings, 2 parking tickets issued, 1 warning, sub in building checks. This report was submitted by officer in charge Joshua David.
Lee called, he will not be here, he apologizes. House on Walton Street, he has not heard anything in reference to it yet. The person who was supposed to contact him about taking that off, he hasn't heard a word. And there's a planning board meeting tomorrow night, and he has 2 applications in the process to go through. And that's all he's got.
If I might jump in, so the property on Walton Street. So under your unsafe building and structures law, the last, village board meeting, you decided to proceed because the property owner did not object at all. She actually had conceded that the front porch was dangerous and unsafe. What I did following the last meeting was I sent the requisite notice to her. We've got about 7 or 8 days left, and the key is she is supposed to begin the demolition of the front porch within that 30-day window. If that doesn't happen, then it comes back to the village, and the village can then take steps itself for the demolition of the front porch, keep track of the costs and recover, et cetera. So even though you might not have heard back from her, that time clock is ticking right now. We got about, I think it's around 7 or 8 days left in that window.
Anything else? Old business. Welcome, Gregor.
Good evening.
How was the drive?
Not bad. Roads are pretty clear.
You're just in time.
Yes.
Okay. You ready? Let you warm
Am I
up a
ready?
little?
You're up.
Okay, I'm off. Okay.
You're up.
This is
We're
where
gonna
we
get some late.
his coat off, yeah.
Let you get warmed up a little, Gregor?
Yeah, whatever you need.
And you're right on time.
I was gonna give an update on a couple of items. The congressionally directed spending. I've got, the applications that were submitted for the water project
Mhm.
and the wastewater project, so I can give a copy of this to you. And I think Aaron also forwarded a copy to you.
So that's
Copy them all.
in and
That's in and submitted, yep. So that was,
that's the earmark money,
correct.
affectionately called pork.
Yeah, that's been a term that's been used, yep. So that was submitted to Jill Schumer's and Stefanik's office. And essentially, that's Gillibrand's application, essentially all 3 are pretty much the same.
Actually, I've reached out to Senator Schumer's office, and actually I called all 3 of them, Schumer, Gillibrand, and, Stefanik, and Senator Schumer's office is the only one that called back, and she had the application there and was glad to hear from the village, and was looking forward to more information. I gave her a summary of what we were doing, and
Good.
seemed very pleased, the office out of Syracuse.
Good. Yeah, you can see on that they had, a minimum request and then total request. We included, for the minimum request for the water project, we had 500,000, which would cover the water meters. That's what we had talked about at
Yeah.
our meeting.
Did you get that email? Did you get the email on this?
No.
Oh, good.
And what's the 2,000,005, that's for sewer?
No, that's for the water project.
Okay.
I didn't,
Yeah, this didn't come as an email, right?
that was mailed to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Then some updates on the Ready projects. You probably noticed that they're working on the steel on the Upper James Street, the permanent section of the dock. They've been working on that, started last week, working on that. It'll probably be 2 to 3 weeks working on the steel. The dock components, we've talked about that previously, but the delivery times, Upper James Street, the fixed portion of the docks, are scheduled for mid-April. Then the floating sections are scheduled for the end of April, and Lower James, which is gonna be entirely a floating dock, is scheduled for mid-May. So as soon as they get panels in, they get the sections for the permanent docks, they'll start the installation of those. And it's still on schedule for having everything in place for Memorial Day.
Okay.
The other portions of the project, the wharf, same status as the last meeting. They're waiting for a stretch of good weather, preferably above freezing and, long enough so they can get concrete to cure. So as soon as we get some better weather, they'll be planning that portion of the work. And the water plant, similar, update as the last meeting. They have some site work they have to finish up and some exterior painting that has to be done. It's all weather contingent. Once we get some decent spring weather, they'll plan that too.
Yeah, it's all gonna come together in May, early May.
Yeah, once everything starts going, it's all gonna be, about the same time.
That's a good thing.
The only other update, unless there's any questions on the Ready projects, any questions on status or updates? The only other update I had, April 4th, is the public meeting for the New York Forward, the funding application, and that's scheduled for 6 o'clock.
Right, and I talked to Lorna at the chamber. She believes that the paperwork that we sent over was sent out to chamber members. She's gonna confirm, let me know tomorrow. And do we have a list of people that don't belong to the chamber in the downtown, or do we need to work on that?
I'll get a hold of Ashley,
And divvy up,
yes.
or get the chamber list?
I'll
and
get
we'll-
the chamber list and then we'll work on,
We have the next 2 weeks to start reaching out to people to make sure people know about that, to get them here. And then, Molly has something that's going in the paper next week,
Just illegal.
illegal, and we're gonna talk to Pam McDowell to see if she can write an article and run it the last 2 weeks of March. So we'll need some help from you as more of that information from, Hartley.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Sounds good. And last thing, the drinking water project, we're close to having everything in for the MWBE utilization plan. That was the step that we're on to get the grant disbursement agreement. So we have a little bit more information to provide. We'll have that in this week, and that portion should be all set.
What do you have to do after that?
We just have to wait for their approval on it.
So this MWBE is the last thing for the the first 3 million, and then you're waiting.
Well, it covers the entire project.
The whole project.
The whole thing, but that's what you need to get the permission to go on the 3 million that we got.
It's for all of the grant funding, so you have the 3 million,
The whole
that was
13.
part of the.
No, I understand that, the MWBE covers all of it, but
Yep.
isn't the first 3 million gonna get approved first? Is all the other paperwork done for the 2 million and 8 million loan?
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're gonna do it as one grant disbursement.
Oh,
One
okay,
GDA grant disbursement
Okay.
agreement for both the 3 million and the 2 million.
so it'll all be done, okay, great.
And the only other updates, as soon as weather breaks, we'll probably start some survey work. The best time to do that is before the grass starts growing and before the leaves are on the trees. We'll include some drone footage with that.
You're gonna start, is that for the water tower first, or?
So the water tower site and the water line replacements.
We are gonna have so much going on if this all happens, all at the same time. I know. Okay. Thank you.
I think that's, it, unless there's any questions, there's, I guess, payment applications for the ready, I should have mentioned that, there aren't any to approve. This month, but expect this coming, or next month, there will probably be 2.
Well, I saw it on Facebook that they're out there working, so it has to be happening. Even today, they were out there a little bit.
Need to put the, camera down there, so you can keep track, is it up and going at the pavilion still?
Yes,
Is it? Okay.
I was looking at it at midnight, looking for the snow. So with the streetscape, we met with we had a construction meeting at the town office, and once again, we're waiting for weather to break to get the rest of the Crossman Street dock in, finish I think there's one more section of ramp that's gotta go in
Where at Crossman?
at Crossman.
Um,
And then they'll button up around, and then the Holland Street ramp, they gotta redo the grade at the pitch of the ramp, and they're gonna have to box that in and redo the end of it because they're still short 8 to 16 feet.
At least 20 feet, but yeah.
In the water? Is that what they came in, so they're short 20 feet into the water, and they thought they weren't? Okay,
The big question that came up was, they took out 40 feet of ramp, and he has the cement pads
yeah,
behind DPW. And now they're trying to say, well, we took out 40, but where did the 40 start? They're trying to say it's further into the parking lot. Well, parking lot is parking lot, ramp is into the water. And then there's a hole where there's a stormwater drain from Holland Street, goes through the parking lot into the river. They gotta come up with a grate for that, so that we don't have people losing their tire in there. But they're gonna work on that, and then the playground, they're gonna work on, leveling up the field, cause there is quite a pitch to that. That's gonna be taken care of.
They weren't gonna do that.
yeah, I was just gonna say, they aren't gonna do
They're
that.
not
They're
gonna
not gonna do it, but
Yeah, but that's not, yes, that's not in
not,
their
not
plan.
the contractor.
Right, that's
Yeah.
gonna be
That's-
us. Yeah, that's not,
We supposedly there's volunteers that were gonna grade that or something.
There was talk of it.
like I said, that's gonna be us.
It's not a very big chunk of,
It's not much of that
No.
field.
It's, no. But that's adjustment.
Right, but they should too, again, be done hopefully, end of April,
Yes.
before we really need those 2 boat ramps.
Number 2, pickleball courts.
I just leave it on there in case Jared has any reports or anything changes.
He's got,
Wait for this stuff to go.
Okay?
what stuff? Yeah, okay. As soon as that's gone, graded out, start laying it. Christmas in July request. So we're going to request the use of the village dock from the American Legion. Dennis Cook?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dear Mayor Jarvis, Village Board, on behalf of the Alexandria Bay's American Legion Post 904, I'd like to respectfully ask for use of the village's Upper James Street dock Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, in support of our upcoming Christmas and July celebration. In addition to the fun, fellowship, and community outreach, the primary beneficiary of our event is Operation ALF, American Legion Family. Include Legionnaires, Sons, and Auxiliary. ALF dogs provide comfort to children. These dogs are provided to emergency responders at no cost to provide children on scene for comfort. As part of a day full of different activities at our post, we would like to request use of the fixed portion of Upper James Street dock from 12 p.m. Saturday 22nd, July 22nd through 8 a.m. Sunday. This would support our decorated boat contest, Christmas caroling, ugly t-shirt contest on the docks. I'd like to thank you and the village leadership in advance for consideration of our request. Thank you, Dennis Cook, Committee Chairperson.
Hi, I'm gonna be the one that starts, and Dennis is gonna come in and do the rest. These are the dogs we're getting, that they're gonna have in the patrol cars and the park police cars. And, we checked with the village, or the, fire department, they already have something, a program already in effect. So that's why we're gonna do it for the park police and the patrol cars. All right?
Thank you.
You're pretty.
They're cute. Every kid would love those.
This is July 22nd.
Yes.
Okay, just so you're aware, Betterment Cattle is that day. Okay,
But that's at the park,
that's at the beach,
that's the, what, the
in
beach,
the
the park.
pavilion.
Yeah, we're not.
But it doesn't affect the dock.
Right.
And we have nothing else?
Correct.
I love
Do
it.
we need to, block off boats from docking at a certain area, or you just wanna be on the dock?
Yes, it'd be the fixed portion, just the fixed portion of the dock for the day.
Okay.
Now, we'd still have, the boaters are coming in.
Mhm.
Is this something that you're gonna not have boaters there, or you want boaters there?
Well, we would have voters pre-register to enter the boat decorating contest, and
Okay.
they would be on the dock. And-
Okay.
And we're doing that, we requested overnight for safety reasons, that way if some of them enjoy some, adult beverages in the village, that they aren't out on the water later that evening.
I love it. Question?
I don't have any questions.
So, I do. So normally, boaters pay dock fees. Are you asking that the dock fees be waived from noon until noon the next day for that full portion?
No, we're asking to reserve it, if there's a fee, whatever the,
You're gonna use, or you have specific boaters coming in to use the docks, or just the boaters that are there to participate?
right, the voters that would be participating would pre-register and enter the contest.
So he'd have a list of people that are coming,
Okay.
and
Right.
you number the spaces, so we have to mark them off like we have in the past. And then he does his own thing. The question is,
Are
Are
we
we
charging,
charging?
are we still gonna charge them overnight fees
We don't charge
for
any
those?
other entities,
Okay. So we need a
like the
list,
antique boat shows and all that, we
Right.
don't
we
charge
need a
them.
list of the boaters that are participating so that they don't get charged for that one night.
And then the village will know how much dock space, you know what I mean, that
Yes.
you actually really need to use. Just so, you know, for the dock attendants that day, what to block off or make sure.
So we're looking at Saturday, July 22nd to Sunday. So what would be a fair amount of time to say we need a list by? so that we have it.
I'd say by June 30th, July 1st, maybe.
So that's-
I mean, I know you're gonna have last minute people, you can leave a leeway, you know what I mean, but.
People don't leave the procrastinator.
Welcome to Alex Bay. Sorry.
July first, that's
I
fine.
mean, that's,
Or 10 days before,
yeah, I
10
mean,
days before a final list, maybe? You know, as we got them, we could update once a week with everybody, and then a final list like 10 days before. Would that be fair?
then she'll know how many people will have to schedule on the dock for the weekend,
And what you have to block
your
off.
staff.
Yeah.
Is anybody gonna play with the doggies? I'll take them back.
Cindy, did you
I
have,
thought we
Cindy,
leave it.
Cindy,
Leave them there? Oh.
Thank
did you have questions about, being on the docks? Like, is it
Well,
gonna block?
they explained that now.
Oh, they already did?
Yeah.
Okay, so it won't be blocked off, like,
Right.
you know, for caroling and all that?
Right, but I guess the one question is, are you gonna use, like, you know, where they put tents when there's activities, are you gonna need that blocked off? I can't
On the upper
remember.
James,
No, not.
No, we won't need that. And we'll do a presentation with the village, PD and the park police, maybe down in that section to present the dogs and start
Okay,
that program. But the caroling, we're not professional singers, so we'll walk through there and leave pretty quickly. So it'll be more of a roving type.
you'll probably there'll be tourists there who's gonna wanna see those dogs too, so you
Sure.
may have a crowd on that
Yeah.
dock. That's
And
why,
we'll keep that off the dock and use, you know, on the dead end side of the
Okay.
street here. For
okay,
Cavaliers on the street, but it won't be for a prolonged period of time, it's just maybe, you know, whatever, 30, 45 minutes.
I gotta see the dogs, so I'll be there.
Gonna end up being entertaining.
Yep.
You wanna make some?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, make the
I'll make a
motion.
motion that we allow the American Legion to, what did you call it? What's the name?
Christmas in July.
Christmas,
Christmas
there
in
you go,
July.
Christmas in July, and use the stationary portion of the dock, without fees and overnight from 12 a.m. on Saturday till 12 a.m. on Sunday.
I'll second.
motion by trustee Caputo, second by trustee Ballmer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much for the event.
Thank you.
Any luck, we'll make it grow.
It'll be fun.
Then you may want the whole street blocked off.
Throw a Christmas block campaign.
Yeah, there you go.
Down the road.
Chamber events recap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was, we tabled last,
Thanks for showing up, Cass.
I know.
anything new on the chamber events with requests they have from the village, DPW? One thing I will add with the events is, having spoken with Supervisor Sweet from the town, he suggested that between the chamber and the village, hiring an extra person to help with the events, pick up garbage, setups and moving stuff, that the town would assist in funding that person. I've also spoken with Councilman Ron Thompson, and he said he was gonna speak with Mr. Sweet about which way, and I believe Ron talked with the chamber last night, we need to find out. Typically, it would be beneficial if the chamber approached the town versus the village for the chamber for the town.
Was it one person, or did we think we needed 1.5?
I just think the one,
Okay, and if it gets to be a crazy busy weekend, we might have to,
yeah.
okay.
Just for I went and I bought 20 boxes of having no trash bags to start us off, we're still doing that. for just 20 boxes, it was over $500. So these events are very costly. Just to put it in kind of retrospect, that's just garbage bags, that's not counting the toiletries that I buy along with it. And Sam's Club is the cheapest one around. I've shopped, but just so you know, we had a guy go out the other day, he was out there, I had to pick up 20 boxes. So just kind of just putting it out there off from the get-go, the price.
Sandy?
No, I was just thinking about that. If you think about it, just write down or shoot me a text of how much they cost, because if I could get those cases through Cisco cheaper, I'd order them through the restaurant and,
Yep.
do it
The
that
thing
way.
is, and I'll give you the mill that's on them, we can go with a cheaper one, but by the time
No, I
they
do,
rip
I do
out.
the heavy, the .5 mil,
Yeah.
because
so,
I don't want garbage all over my driveway.
but yes, I will, for sure.
Just,
Do you need a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the Amber event for this season, 2023.
And 24.
Oh, and 24? Yeah, okay, 23 and 24. We need a second.
You need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion to approve the events, motion by trustee Palmer, second by trustee Demo, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I,
New business, volunteer firefighters, ambulance workers exemption. So we had the public hearing. We had no comments from any of the public, but pretty much everybody is in agreement that we should do something for the volunteer firefighters. I did speak with Mr. Clapper from the school today, and they're gonna be doing it at the school, at their next board meeting, presenting it. And I don't know, the school is, obviously is gonna be different than the village or the town, that they're doing a presentation for not only the firefighters and ambulance workers, but they have to incorporate veterans for veterans tax exemption. Well, I believe, the village is already set with the veterans group,
Yeah, it's a different statute altogether.
different statute, and the town is the same way.
Yes.
But I think the biggest thing was is, pretty much, Mr. Sweet said he was going to a 10% with the town, pending their approval. School is aiming for the 10%, and I think everybody here is also in agreement for 10%. Like Molly said, the bottom line is with the Alexandria Bay Fire Department, it would affect 5 residents, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Because you take a lot of the firefighters are young people that are still living at home. So it wouldn't affect their parents.
No, they have to have their own.
So what if the husband and wife are both firefighters?
It's the residents.
Okay.
It's not
It's not
double
the person,
exemption,
okay.
it's that tax parcel.
Okay,
So if it's 89 Church Street, I get 10%,
all right,
no matter how many people live there.
okay.
So this would be local law number 1 of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Partial real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters, ambulance workers. Please take notice, a local law has been introduced by the village board of the village of Alexandria Bay regarding partial real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters, ambulance workers. I'm stepping ahead of myself here. The village board hereby adopts exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers pursuant to the guidelines set forth at New York Real Property Tax Law, NY RPTL, subsection 466-A. Number 2, the 10% property tax exemption shall apply to property used exclusively for residential purposes by the firefighters and/or ambulance workers. If a portion of the property is used for non-residential purposes or by another person for residential purposes, then the exemption shall apply only to that part of the structure used for residential purposes by the firefighter and/or ambulance worker. Firefighter and/or ambulance worker shall meet a minimum service requirement of at least 2 consecutive years before this exemption shall apply. The mayor for the village of Alexandria Bay, the village clerk, their respective agents and/or employees are hereby authorized to sign all documents and take all necessary steps to provide a full force and effective of this local law.
Do you need a motion for that?
So
So
we need a
he has
motion,
You have it.
He has it.
so I need a motion and a second.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote.
Foregoing resolution was offered by Board Member Fulmer, seconded by Board Member Demo, and upon roll call vote of the board, was duly adopted as follows. Roll call, please.
Mayor Jarvis.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fulmer.
Yes.
Trustee Caputo.
Yes.
Trustee Demo.
Yes.
And Trustee DeRigo is absent. Do this, sign and seal it.
Yeah, consent.
Yep. Do that, sir. Can I ask a question, now that
Yes.
we've done this? Do we send this to, we have to get a roster, obviously, it won't be till, effect till next year's taxes, and then they will have to be sent to the county to be added to our, as an exemption on our tax roll for our,
I think that's taken care of through the town, with the town assessor.
okay, got it. All right, I'll double, just so I
But
know where.
you will wanna make sure that the town is aware that you've adopted this exemption, because the town assessor actually has quite a bit of work because of this. The town assessor is the one that actually determines whether they've met the criteria, and by doing that, they'll check with the fire department to make sure that the firefighter's eligible, the ambulance worker's eligible.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Will be done. Number 2, set a public hearing to override the tax cap.
Are you doing your paperwork for me?
I can.
For the next meeting?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I put it on here tonight, I'd
Okay.
like to,
Okay.
I would like to set a public hearing to override the tax cap at our next meeting. And then immediately after that, I'd like to set a public hearing to adopt the fiscal budget for 23-24.
So that's,
April 11th,
Yes, sir.
5:15 for both.
5:15,
5:15 to
5:17, yeah.
We're not adopting the new budget then, isn't that just the tentative budget? Because then you have to have your public hearings.
Yes, that
Yep.
is to set it for that date.
the public hearing, that's
We're
right.
setting the actual public hearing for
April
April
11th.
11th. I
For the
will,
budget, okay.
yeah, and then I will present it to the board, we'll have to have a special meeting at least 10 days before that, to
Before the end of-
present it to the
End of March, we'll
Board.
have a
board.
special meeting for her to present it to the board.
Yeah.
So that takes care of number 2 and number 3.
I need a motion. Did we get a motion?
No, we didn't.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Caputo,
Second.
Cindy?
Thank you.
Motion by trustee Caputo, second by trustee Demo, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's for both, correct?
Yes.
Number 4, potential new local law.
I can update the board. So as you know, the governing board here for the village, you're actually responsible for managing a multi-million-dollar corporation. And for better or for worse, municipalities are targets for litigation from time to time. One of the prime areas where you get targeted is on your roads and on your sidewalks. And if someone is injured or damaged to property because of an alleged deficiency or defect with a road, a village road or village sidewalks, you have to bring claims against villages. That's always difficult, because you've got so much exposure out there. One of the protections you have in the law is to make sure that you've got a local law that requires prior written notice of a defect. So that if I come driving in your village and I claim that I get injured on a sidewalk, no claim, unless before that somebody has provided prior written notice to the village clerk of the alleged deficiency. When she gets notice of that, she notifies the board. We coordinate efforts to make sure that within a reasonable period of time you examine it, and if you think there is deficiency, then you remedy it. And then once you've remedied it, you protect it. But if you neglect to do something, then you have the exposure. It's just a protection that villages have. I flagged that just to make sure that you take a look to see if you've adopted something like that in years past.
I think we did this a year or two ago when we had the issue.
Well, they update the law from time to time. The reason it's important too is this. Part of what you do is you insure through a carrier for municipal protection. Your insurance premiums can be impacted by whether you've got the right local law or not. I just want to flag that issue and say it's good business to check. Actually, the town of Alexandria, you want to check with them too to see if they've done that. It's just good housekeeping.
So if somebody lets us know that the sidewalk in front of Mr. Smith's property downtown is problematic, we can fix it and bill, how does it work?
So what happens is this. If someone slips and falls on Mr. Smith's sidewalk, if they want to bring a claim against the village, then regardless of the other protections, they will lose unless sometime before that you received prior written notice of an alleged defect on Mr. Smith's sidewalk. So if you've got that prior notice, then it opens the door to you look and say, well, is it a village sidewalk or not? And you tackle it with whether you think it's deficient or defective or not, and then you fix it if it is. But you have that added protection so you don't get the claims against you.
Right, but if we have something that's deficient and we need to have it fixed, do we fix it or do we talk to the property owner first?
Well, that's going to be different. It depends on your local law. What normally happens is you foist that responsibility on the property owner. If the property owner doesn't take care of it, you can fix it.
Then we can fix it so we're covered. Okay. And then we can bill them.
Yeah, I'd have to check your local law. I have to say you've got it set up, but there's a mechanism for that. That's a different topic, but the real key here is I just wanted to flag the issue that it's worth taking a look at that to make sure you've got the right protections for the village is all. Because it comes up all too frequently, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay.
That was it.
Anything else? Sure. Gregor, Russ, how you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Very good.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Public concerns. Don't need executive. Adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second it. We need to set up,
Motion to adjourn by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Demo, all in favor? Aye.
Yeah,
Opposed?
but
we need to set up a time for another meeting that Molly's gonna present us with the budget.
but that's, we have to wait till we get more paperwork from Tina, right?
We'll get, everybody will get an update from Tina, and then I'll call and set up. Typically, it'll be,
But Tina's gonna send us paperwork this week, and don't we,
she said by mid-next week, she'll have the final, and
I know,
then,
Tally, she said the week of the 28th.
so we can look at it and then discuss
and
it
then
again?
somewhere it's the 28th, 29th, or 30th, we'll set up a special meeting.
Okay, so we'll have next week to look at it again.
Yep, that way we have time to change it if we need to. Is that okay?
It's fine with me, I just didn't know if Molly needed to put a notice out that we're having another meeting, and if we should go ahead
Yep.
and pick a time, because we know it's gonna be within 1 or 3 days, so do you wanna pick a date or not pick a date? Doesn't matter to me.
Do you have your calendar?
What would work better? To set a date right now, or wait
Doesn't
till we
matter
hear
to
from
me.
Tina?
So, we're talking the 29th, 30th, or 30th. It's gotta be between the 27th and the 31st, but I would say 29th, 30th, or 31st would be your dates. That'll give me time to work it. It doesn't matter to me.
I'm good for any, whatever works for you two, and Steve, do you wanna pick a date?
Those dates are,
Wednesday or Thursday is good for me, not Friday.
Thursday is
29
my
and
only
30th?
day. You can do Thursday?
Thursday?
That's it.
Okay.
What time?
Anytime.
what time's
you
good?
want. Our normal
4,
time.
4:15?
4 is fine, 4:15.
You got jewelry that day, Steve,
Which day?
30th.
So what day we going for,
What time is
30th?
jewelry?
After school, on the 30th.
okay,
Okay,
I can still make it.
okay.
Cause this'll take a whopping
That won't take long, cause we'll all have gone over it.
10 or 15
Okay,
minutes
all
at the
right.
most.
I mean, by the time we get to this meeting, it's all
That's all, yeah.
pulled apart and put back together.
3:30, 23 at, what time?
What's good for you, if you've gotta do something after
What
school,
time is it?
I don't care, 5,
3
4
to-
to 5.
4:30-ish. Oh, it's 3 to 4:30, you're saying?
4:30?
Okay, got it.
4:30?
So, Mr. Mayor, we'd like to adjourn this meeting until the 30th at
4:30.
4:30 PM. Okay, that way we don't have to.
That'll avoid publication costs.
Okay. So we're gonna adjourn till 3:23 at 4:30 PM. Motion by Christie Palmer, second by Christie Dean, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote. We good? Thank you. How was your trip?
I'm done.
Not bad.
Busy.
Warm enough out, so
Only 10 minutes.
makes it nice.
I don't know, that wind starts to blow.
Is it
Sit
picking
down,
up?
yeah.
Yeah, my house.
So I thought you wanted an executive session.